Welcome back. You're listening to He Said, She Said on KHTS 1220, your hometown station. Okay, are we going to keep Coach on topic, or are we just going to be everywhere
Can I just
today?
tease the audience about what's coming up at the end of the show?
Okay, so we're not keeping him on topic.
No. This is 30 seconds. If anybody carry water, you carry your water, I carry
Everywhere.
my water. Where did this come from? So I'm going to tell everybody where all this fascination with...
I just
and
saw
Justin.
Justin's got his water.
plastic container of water.
Ellen doesn't like water.
You don't seem to have the same fascination with water.
Ellen
I
doesn't
do
like
not.
water.
You do with coffee, though. So
I
we'll
have
talk
one
about...
cup in the morning, but we'll discuss that
All right.
later.
What do we want to discuss?
We're
Ellen?
gonna move on to consequences because I heard this amazing thing on a radio station the other day. It was a guest host, and he goes, "Wait, you actually mean there's consequences for my behaviors and my actions?" I think it's a topic that everyone's kind of lost. People do not realize that there's consequences, or society has changed, and we are not holding people up to a certain standard. Or
I think this goes back to the show we did about conflict. If you hold somebody accountable, it creates conflict, and people shy away from that.
So then, therefore, nobody's growing up with a consequence.
Correct.
So
that's our society.
Why do you think society is struggling so much? Is that why are jails so full? Why are the courts so full? Is because people don't understand accountability for actions. And unfortunately, apparently, parents aren't teaching consequences today.
Are you talking about Tom Brady's parents, or
Tom? Why? Now we're not. That's not fair, Robin. To bring up Tom Brady, you know how sensitive I am about Tom Brady. Did you see Miss? Was it Miss Alabama?
Georgia.
No,
Georgia. Miss
was
Georgia.
it Georgia? No,
she said guilty.
No, but she's beautiful. I think it was Miss Alabama. No, it was Miss Alabama.
It was Miss Georgia. Miss
why
America.
don't you say what she said first?
She said he was guilty.
About Tom Brady?
They asked her, "Do you think Tom Brady was guilty?" She said yes, but she has the most beautiful eyes, and she won anyway. So who cares?
Gorgeous. But back to consequences. I agree. So you're actually a parent. You're actually not trying to be friends with your kids.
Hold on, let me look. Am I?
Yeah. No, you're a parent.
Oh, I am. Okay.
No, but
Okay, when we were raising our kids,
yeah.
we had consequence.
Oh my God, did we?
Yeah, we had to do the dishes.
Not you.
You
Tracy
guys.
had to do the dishes for a month.
I had to dry them.
Yeah.
So I don't think kids are growing up with consequences, or it's that you can't find a consequence. I don't know if this is the right term, harsh enough, or
You can't find it to fit the crime, right?
Yeah. What's the
Trying to
payoff?
find the spectrum of what is exactly right for this.
It is. I think that's probably the hardest thing. You know, a kid does something, you say, "Oh, give me your phone for a week."
They don't care.
They're like,
Guess
"Oh,
what?
a
They
week?"
can
Then they're on
do
their
the
computer.
same thing on their computer.
Okay, give me your phone. Give me your computer.
Okay, so here's the problem. They're smarter than we are.
well, but what is so?
No, because they give you the okey doke. I mean,
They're like,
our
"Okay, I get
grandkids
it."
are perfect
We
at the okey
don't know
doke.
what kids' payoff is anymore.
No. But here, so going back to society and maybe why, I don't know if any of you watch Fox 11, the Fox 11 channel. There is a commercial. They sponsor the news show. It drives me crazy. It's called Ticket Clinic. It tells you, call us. You'll get out of the DUI. You'll get out of the speeding ticket. Why are you getting out of a DUI ticket? That you should not. That's your consequence. Why are you
Good
out of the
point.
speeding ticket if you're speeding? And what company is out there saying,
It's okay to have a DUI. We'll get you out of it.
yeah, money. So that's the payoff. Maybe is money.
I don't think, well, this goes back to, okay, this is a big deal for me. This goes back to conscience. That without a conscience, you do stuff like that. You look at money and that's your payoff, so you don't really care what the situation is. It's like, if I can make money in getting someone off on a DUI or
Well, that's an
something like
attorney.
that.
That's a whole nother show.
No, but in any sense, many of our kids do not have a conscience. And when you don't have a conscience and you don't bring in right and wrong within yourself, then you have a problem.
You and I are not
Alan.
disagreeing on this one.
Preach to the
You
choir.
and I are not disagreeing on this one. And to me, it goes back, and I don't want to get into this subject, but if you don't have faith,
No, it has nothing
No.
to do with faith.
No, it is
Well-
knowing right. It is knowing right from wrong.
Faith has nothing to do
what's the
with
name of our
knowing
show?
right.
He said, she said. So I'm saying, lady,
You should have a little faith.
Yes.
Faith in what?
faith in.
There's a higher.
Thank you.
A higher being above you.
I don't want to say
what
God.
What does conscience have to do with faith?
Because if you have to report, why is there principles? Why do we have cops on a corner? Because if you break the rules,
people are shooting them now. So there's no conscience.
Well, I'll bet you anything the people that are doing all the bad things are not faith-based people. Yeah, I'll bet you anything. You got any money?
So what about the
purse?
person? Okay, maybe some, but I would say there's probably faith-based people out there that
there are
also
many, many faith-based people that have issues with their conscience, and they.
Well, but I think part of it goes back a little bit. It does go to the teaching. You try and tell your kids, if we don't pay the bills, the lights are going to be off. There's an action, then there's a consequence. If my husband doesn't go to work, there's no money to do this. So
to pay the mortgage.
So I explain to the kids all the
Box
time.
City.
Hey, Box City is a great event we do.
It is a wonderful event.
So now you have these kids who he's not doing his homework or he wants to stay out late, and you have to explain, well, when you do that, now look at the grade. Now the next part to that, the consequence is you're grounded. Now that you're grounded, you need to go mow the lawn and pick up the doggy stuff.
Poop.
But I don't think many parents are doing this anymore. It's I
think parents are afraid of their kids.
Let me get back to faith real quick. I would say to your comment, Mrs. Tuning, that you tap on the brakes. I think if you have a higher moral calling, you're going to tap on the brakes a little faster and a little sooner.
So if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is, if you are internally faith-based, you have a better conscience.
That's what I'm saying. You tap on the brakes.
I'm not sure I believe that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can go with that one either.
After
Going to a private, sending my kids
She's
to a
on my side for the very first time.
Well, tomorrow in my umbrella training, I'm going to talk about it. So if you guys want to sign up for $10, I'm doing a umbrella.
Do I get a free
training.
Umbrella?
But I'm going to talk about it in my umbrella training tomorrow.
I think.
Look at how many immoral people.
Developing a conscience is a huge issue today. And I think that consequences is one thing, but helping our children develop a conscience is probably almost more important, because if they develop a real inherent conscience,
and who's supposed to teach them this?
Then they'll already get that if they don't do that, there will be consequences.
So this goes back to in high school, they really don't need to learn the Pythagorean theorem. They should be having a class on conscience.
No, I'm talking kindergarten.
Oh, okay. So
and I'm talking a conscience comes from within the home.
Okay, I'm kind of liking what you're saying. So at a young age, at 2 or 3, we teach our kids, and I remember, let's talk about Robin, not touching the stove. If you touch the stove, there's consequences.
You're going to get burned.
Right, you're going to get burned. So if we take that to anything else, so I like what you're saying. It starts in the home. So
and
when you have half the homes.
Very early age, because remember, even empathy is taught within the first 5 years of a child's life. If a child doesn't experience and see empathy, they don't get it.
Okay, this goes back to what I said a month ago on the show. Most people shouldn't be parents. Most people shouldn't have kids. Look at half the marriages end up in divorce. So if you have an unhappy marriage, you're so focused and angry.
On the unhappiness.
Thank you. See, Robin gets it. My little Robin gets it.
But even if you...
So you took this topic, so you're saying consequences really is your conscience.
Yes.
And if you have a conscience, then you're more likely not to put yourself in a situation with a bad conscience.
And everything's learned. Everything's learned.
But so I think you're going in depth and really more, I don't know. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day. So what if you just share a piece of information with someone that you say, so, Coach calls me and says, not feeling really good about this, tells me the story and goes, but please don't tell anyone how I feel. Now I turn around and go tell 2 people. What's the consequence to me for betraying that trust? So it's not, that doesn't go to
become an untrustworthy friend.
So that doesn't go to an immoral thing. Is that immoral?
Yeah.
It is?
That's a character issue.
It's a character
issue. So remember, everything's learned. So character is learned. You're not born with character.
No, you learn.
So, think about it. I'm older than both of you put together. When I was
Thank goodness.
going to high school, you had to bend over, grab your ankles, and they swatted
excuse
you.
me.
They beat the crap out of you. Now, can you imagine a teacher swatting a kid today?
No.
That goes back to my statement. People, because,
No discipline.
Because of the laws, people are afraid of their kids. Their teachers
You're
are
right.
afraid to.
Yes.
No,
the
it goes-
whole,
You're
the
right.
whole
It goes
back to that,
disciplinarian thing.
This political correctness, Al, you're right on it. And
No,
this is...
It goes to the thing that my husband always says, and we are going to talk about on another show coming up. When did everyone get the right to be offended? When did being offended become a right?
Instead of
Great
just
question.
hearing honesty.
Great question.
Yeah, speaking honestly.
Think about it. A teacher cannot do anything to a child.
But you have to understand on either end. Give a hug if crying, a pat on the head.
Can't do that.
No.
But you also cannot.
I wouldn't want a teacher swatting.
I'm not saying swatting, even though we got swats when I was growing up. I'm not saying the whole touch thing, but if a teacher penalizes a student, that student can turn around and make that teacher's life a living hell.
They can.
And I think teachers
But that would be
afraid.
the parent supporting the
So
child to do that.
There's a lot of yap,
But this is
but no
this goes
consequence.
back to why Donald Trump and the other guy, Sanders, are so popular. We are fed up with the status quo. We are fed up with how society runs from Washington. The bureaucracies are so big and
pacifying
so
of
When
America.
has Washington
and dysfunctional.
be made to be accountable for their horrible
There you
decisions?
go.
Is
There
that
you-
what you're saying?
Absolutely, girl. You're spot on. You're becoming a conservative.
No,
That's
I'm not.
why I love you.
I will never be a conservative.
No, but we have a dysfunctional bureaucracy.
I'm a product of the 60s. I will never be a conservative.
So what are you?
You got any weed she can smoke? No,
Oh, that's terrible.
no, you would smoke weed if it was legal. I think, don't you think?
If it was legal, probably.
No, but you girls are just nailing it. It is a broken.
It's not
down-
politically correct to
Exactly.
assess consequences.
right. Well said.
But what we're focusing on right now, all three of us, is the bad consequences. So if there are good consequences either.
No, but
also
you can't even hug a child. You can't. So you can't even.
No, but if you're going back to the teaching from the home, and we learn at this age, if parents today actually supported their children in good decisions, and there was a good consequence for that.
Well, consequence is a four-letter word, unfortunately.
But who's getting hugs? Can I just? You're a hugger. Your
I'm a
mom's a
hugger.
hugger. I'm a hugger. So there are a lot of hugging in our family.
We'll
That's
make sure
why
to hug Justin before we go.
We will.
He'll get a hug.
No, but we're, I mean, I'm not patronizing us, but we're a pretty healthy family. We love each other and we express ourselves. But Justin, when's the last time you got a hug?
yes, we
Seriously.
do.
Let me focus on it. When's the last time you got a hug? This is not good, Justin. This is not good. You're rolling your eyes.
Well,
When was the last time you did something for the first time?
We're going to hug you. We're going to hug the crap out of you before we leave.
I'm a hugger too. That's fine with me. I hugged my grandma yesterday, so I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
there.
Are you good?
Yeah.
You got a hug.
All right.
Yeah, but think about it. Teachers, neighbors, there is this fear
Yeah.
now. There's a fear
Yeah.
of
That somebody will
that
make an
somebody's
incorrect
going
statement
to
and
report you.
offend you.
Someone is going
Somebody
you're gonna be
reported us
offensive.
on our lawn. I mean, it's,
Were you
yeah.
watering on the wrong day?
We
it was an
accidentally.
absolutely accidental thing.
I was doing the
Your
sprinkler
mother, is
settings.
Miss Manners and Miss Right. So
I was doing the sprinklers. I accidentally set it for Sunday instead of Friday.
and the guy comes to the door.
And we got the knock
You're
knock.
kidding.
We got
the note on ours.
Mrs. Tunick, you are a naughty girl.
Yeah. And it was like, okay. So my consequence for that was if you continue to do it, you're going to pay a fine.
Okay, but did your conscience say I could just be smarter than that and turn them on at midnight?
So if you come into our house, you're going to see a nice gray lawn. It's now gray.
No, it's slightly brown.
Or
Thank you for the
gray-brown.
rain.
Yeah,
The
quarter of inch.
do you remember as a child receiving consequences for your actions? Because I may be talking out of my you-know-what here.
Yes and no. I mean, we're talking about, it depends on what age we're discussing. I mean,
I only remember
I got in trouble,
the
but I-
volatile teenage years.
Okay.
I don't remember anything else because
I remember when I was
adorable.
She was so cute.
You
See,
were
that's the thing.
adorable.
So it's passed on to her daughter.
Once we got to the 12 or the 13, it was like the devil's spawn.
Ow.
Oh my God! What?
this a
I thought
Halloween
you guys
show?
had a
Well,
nice
this
lunch
is
today.
called-
I did
we're
too. What
climbing
happened?
out of- We're climbing out of windows.
She's turned
we're-
on you.
Climb out of windows,
This
huh?
I would never do such a thing.
Oh
Look at me,
my
Justin.
goodness.
Come on.
There's a consequence for lying, sweetheart.
Your mother's just turned on you. My
No,
God!
I'm just-
I only
saying.
took their car for the first time at 13.
If I was a judge,
My
you talk
car.
about
No, you took your
consequences.
sister's
No, I took
car.
yours at 13.
If
Tracy's
I
at
was a
15.
judge,
great.
I would do public hangings. I mean,
Oh,
public.
Coach.
Yeah, why not?
Coach. Oh
Why
my
not?
gosh.
We need to start sending a message that it is don't break certain laws. Now, I wouldn't hang everybody for everything, but
But
there's
just certain people?
No, certain laws. No, certain
And this
laws.
is where we get into trouble is that
you had public hangings up until 19.
okay, but here it is. It's who gets to make that decision and who put them
Yes,
in that
thank you.
place that allows them to make the decision to hang somebody.
Where's
And
their
this
conscience?
This is where all the political correctness has started from is that who made you the law of the land? Who made you God that makes all the rules? Who made you the person that gets to decide?
He did.
This
He's the
is
coach.
where the problem lies.
Talk to her, Robin.
Did you not know who he is? You're talking to the coach over there. I think you're confused.
But
I am not confused.
But there has to be major consequences for
But
hurting
who
society.
decides who those
Well, no,
consequences
We
Get
are?
up.
decide. Society decides. We send.
Society's
Time
all
out
over
a
the
second.
map.
Who are these idiots we send to Washington? These House of Representatives are supposed to. These
They're supposed to
congressional
represent you.
are
You've
supposed
got
to
the
represent.
right side, you've got the left side, you've got the middle side. Who ends up making the decision?
Why do you think Donald Trump and the other guy Sanders are so
But
popular?
guess-
Because the
but-
guys we send to Washington
But it's
don't do
all
their job.
BS because should they be elected, you're still going to have the same thing.
Okay, I have
the
a bigger-
right side, the left side, the middle side. Nobody's going to be able to
Bigger
make.
Let me say
consequence.
this to both of you.
Okay,
You
you
send
fish.
535 waitresses to Washington, this country would work so much better. Think about it. You get every waitress from Denny's restaurant to go to Washington and represent us.
Because you're saying because they can be servers and they know how to.
No, they clean up messes. They know how to clean up a mess quickly, and they're honest and they're forthright.
I want to tell you
Okay.
before we go to break.
Send waitresses
Can't really
to
relate
Washington.
to that comment, but go ahead, Robin.
Send waitresses to Washington.
My biggest consequence that I'm having to suffer right now. Would
Is
you
that-
like to know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you know what the consequence is when you don't go to the gym and you eat too much and it rains out? You can't get into your jeans and you have to wear stretch pants.
Your little
Big
tu- your-
consequence.
is your little tushy getting too big?
It doesn't fit in jeans right now. I don't know.
Is your little tushy
It
getting
might
too
be,
big?
but that's a
talk
big.
about-
What-
That's a
let's talk
big.
about
What,
what's
what about?
important.
Why don't you play the Kim
Sorry,
Kardashian card?
I had
don't
to
get
talk
it.
about what was important.
Why don't you play the Kim
That's-
Kardashian card?
That's the consequence.
That-
You eat too much, you don't get into your clothes. That's what's
You're
real.
not
That's
playing.
real.
That's authentic.
I'm sorry. She's
The rest
made a
of this is
fortune with her
BS.
booty. What's next, Justin?
I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna come back, Coach. You're gonna always give us one wonderful
Water
one
and
for the
coffee. What a
road.
joke. We'll be right back.
You're listening to He Said, She Said, one of the best shows I think out there right now on KHTS 1220, your hometown station.
So the syndicators love our show. They listen to it, really.
I love our
We're going to
show.
be all over America.
I love our show.
So
Give us one for the road. Give us something to
one
think about.
for the
One
road.
for the road.
So I gave up. This is part of the thing. I gave up drinking coffee and soda pop about a year and a half ago. I can't explain. I feel absolutely
Soda
great.
pop.
Soda pop. I can't.
But the coffee?
I gave up the coffee, and I love
Crazy.
coffee.
Well,
I love my
you
coffee in the
know,
morning.
You gave it up because it didn't like your stomach.
That's
if your
nobody's
stomach
business.
was okay,
That's our
you'd be
business.
drinking coffee.
You don't
so
need
let's,
to share
let's
our
get real
business.
here, Coach.
Okay, so when did this water thing start? When you and I grew up, I never
no,
drank
they were
water.
disgusting fountains at school.
Yeah, exactly.
it.
That was it. I mean, literally.
You didn't drink out of the hose when you were playing in the front yard?
We did that too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that was what, once a month
It
or
was
something?
110 degrees. but
Robin,
you
look
drank
at your
it
dad.
anyway.
Am I not one of the more handsome guys you've ever met in your life?
Is that because you didn't drink out of the hose? Or?
It's because I didn't drink water. I mean, I don't understand. I went to, our doctor. I can't,
Yeah.
Dr. Quack. I can't tell his name on the show.
You can't say his
Dr.
name.
Quack.
Oh, he's one of the best doctors out
No,
there.
come on. He's a great doctor. I call him Dr. Quack. I know as much as he does, and I've had one health class in the 7th grade, But the point is, I said to him, Doc, how much water do I need to drink? He said, drink when you're thirsty, period.
Well, and that's why I don't walk around with a bunch of water because I adhere to that.
Well, then you don't. Then you're not
So-
following the other, like the Dr. Oz is the.
But it's
I
all a
don't
myth.
believe
It's
it.
there. Where is the documentation?
There
so it
isn't.
started with advertising agencies. It started with you,
It's
Mrs. Tunick,
it's
drinking Perrier
merchandising.
water.
It's totally
exactly.
merchandising.
You're the one that started this crazy.
But your
drink.
body
I
is
did?
made.
Weren't you the
When are you
when I
pointing the
was
finger at
dating you?
me?
You were drinking Perrier.
I happen
No,
to
you used
like
to drink
Perrier.
an Avion.
But
No,
so-
you know where it.
it started with advertising agencies.
But your body is made up of close to 75% water. You need it. Your muscles need it. Your brain needs it. You need the hydration.
Well, hydration,
Yeah,
but you need
hydration
that
is
hydration
different.
with water or just hydration fluid.
So where do you think, like, I don't want to mention brands, but I'll just say, where do you think blah, blah, blah Springs water comes from?
The blah 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 natural spring.
Not true. So there are, I've studied up on this stuff. I can't do this in 4 minutes. I need an hour.
Okay.
Can I do the show next week? on
All about
yeah,
water.
we'll let you back in.
No, this phenomenon of all of us carrying plastic water bottles, and I don't drink coffee anymore, but both of you drink coffee, right?
Just a cup in the morning, and I'm good.
What about you, Robin?
1 cup. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband drinks the whole
What
entire
about
pot.
you, Justin? Are you, no?
Not a
Can't stand
coffee
coffee.
person.
Well,
Can't
you're a
stand
jock.
coffee.
You look very healthy. You don't drink coffee, do you? So we've been sold a bill of goods. We have been
I agree.
brainwashed. Thank you. We've been sold a
Oh
bill
my
of
God,
goods
we
and
agree.
brainwashed.
I disagree.
That's like 2 agrees.
That's
in
why the
one
show's
show.
called He Said, She Said, because
But that's 2 agrees in one show. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm going to have to tough myself.
I
up
enjoy
here.
water, to be
So
honest,
if
too.
we're
Well, then that's fine.
if we're brainwashed on these 2 items, what else are we brainwashed on? Think about that. I mean, that's a whole show. If we've been sold,
Well, I know you've been brainwashed on one thing. Oregon Ducks. You are brainwashed.
God, I was just complimenting you a few minutes ago. Now you're. I walked in the studio and the other guy that's not our producer anymore. Thank God we have Justin. He was picking on me too.
For the Oregon Duck outfits.
Yeah, the guy his name starts with a K. No, but we lost to Michigan State the other
I know. It was,
Not
that
by
was-
much.
Ugh.
But I guess a loss is a loss.
You know what? I bet they were drinking a lot of water.
Well, there's a difference between being hydrated.
They were being
There's a
hydrated,
difference
Robin.
between outside conditions and never mind. Well, I want to do a whole show on this.
We'll come back on one of our other shows, but we thank you so much for listening to He Said, She Said, KHTS 1220. Coach Ellen, you are always awesome. We will be back with you guys next Tuesday at 2.